Warrington Dallam shed dealt mainly on freight duties. It was a 10-row dead-ended shed. Lighting was minimal, the atmosphere sulphuric. At the end of the shed, the drivers and firemen signed on and off duty, a clocking on and off device placed near the loco arrangement board. This was an important area of a shed where drivers could find details of their locomotive for the day's duty, hopefully where it was in the shed, time and destination of the duty. For the shed fitters, there was information on which engines were stopped for repair or examination. At Dallam, there was a memorial tablet for the loco men. Warrington Dallam had a similar system, but here there was a platform at wagon floor height which enabled the coalman to shovel straight onto the elevator belt without having to lift the coal far. With the coming of virtual full employment in the 1950s and 60s, it was getting increasingly difficult to get men to work on these and shed duties with such crude methods and hard manual work. If steam had continued to exist, much more mechanization would have had to have come in. 45221 was used to this. She was a Stockport Edgeley engine.
Winwick Junction on the West Coast Main Line north of Warrington was a popular spot for photographers. Let's observe the variety of classes in action. In 1965, most of the steam activity was on freight, but there were still some steam-hauled passenger workings. In our final view at Winwick Junction, a Black 5 overtakes an 8F. Two well-turned-out engines demonstrate the versatility of the class. First comes a freight, it's followed by a passenger working. Rebuilt with larger high-pressure boilers and double chimneys in 1942, followed by similar modification of the Royal Scots and 18 Patriots. This Patriot at Winwick Junction is 45531 Sir Frederick Harrison. The rebuilt engines of all three classes were very similar. The same locos seen again at Warrington Dallam shed. Only two remained in service at this time, both working from Carlisle Kingmore shed. The last four Scots were also based at Kingmore. The King's Royal Rifle. The smaller Class 4s, with a 260 wheel arrangement, were based on the Ivat 4, but were tidied up with the more typical BR standard design features. Also at Winwick Junction is one of Patrikoff Shed's batch of 20 standard 5s with Capriotti valve gear northwards over moor troughs. (92059) appears again in this view at Winwick Junction. At the same location is another rebuilt Crosty. 92022 is showing the remarkably good turn of speed which 9Fs demonstrated during their all-too-short lives. 251 9Fs entered service between 1954 and 1960, when 92220 Evening Star became the last steam loco constructed for British Railways.